Welcome, Weekly Rebound viewers. We got a special guest. I'm not gonna get all political and do a crazy intro here. We got a three-time champion. The assist record holds the assist record for most assists in a game. Yaga, Shocker City, Blue Devils, Light It Up, Titans, Bad Boys. I don't think I forgot one. Chris Rudzinski himself, three-time champion. Chris, how's it feel? Weekly Rebound, you're back.
Hey, thanks for having me, Greg. It's different this time because I'm not playing the league this time, but I'm happy to be here as
Yeah.
always.
No, I mean it's I wanted you on here. We wish we had Connor on here. Shout out Connor. But you've been in the league. You've gone through these playoff runs before. You know how this goes. So it's that it's kind of a grind getting through this. So we're going to make some predictions real quick, kind of discuss what we're going through. But first, before I do anything, I just want to bring up the standings so we could. I know it gets all messed up when I put it on screen, but just so the standings, just so we can see the standings, because the
Okay.
standings are right now. Can you see this, Rosinski?
Um, I could see, I could just pull them up on my thing.
Yeah, just pull it up, because this I got a lot of tie. There's gonna be a lot of tiebreaker scenarios. So you gotta stay with me. Before we go through this, let me read all the tiebreaker scenarios to the viewers real quick. So we got TMC in first. They clinched the one seed at 6-1 with their win yesterday because they
So they
beat
cl
both Get Money and Glazers.
so they
Yep,
clinch the one seed no matter what happens.
they clinched it. So
Okay.
Trailblazers beat Get Money head to head. So if they tie, Glazers are going to be the two, Get Money would be the three.
Okay.
Flint can't get higher than a four because they lost to Get Money and Trail. So Flint, four is the
Flint's got
highest they
three
can go.
losses. Wow. Weren't they
Yeah,
at 4-0?
they were 4-0. And then this is the thing. So Biggest Skis and Flint play this week. If Skis beat Flint, they're the four seed. Flint becomes the five seed.
That would be a first round matchup. Well, that's a
That'd be a
first round
first round
matchup
match.
regardless.
I was gonna say, I think that's a first round matchup regardless there. And then you got
Huh.
Family First. They can't get higher than a six seed, but they can't
So
get below
Family
than a six seed.
First, Snipe
So they're the
Squad.
six. Family
Okay.
First beat Snipe and back outside, so they're locked in at the six.
Okay.
So Snipe beat back outside head to head, but if they end up tied, Snipe will be ahead of them. So I mean, look, it's this is a good first question. But if you were sniping back outside, would you? I mean, you think you want the seven seed and play Trail or Get Money, or I think you'd probably rather play them than run TMC.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think just based off of experience, I think you probably want to avoid Run TMC in the first round
Yeah,
because Trailblazers, I feel like their best few players haven't been in the league as long as them, obviously. Well, nobody's
yeah,
been in the league as long as Reggie at this point. But Get Money's a newer team. They were in it last year, but it's still only their second season. So those rims come into play when it matters. Your jump
yeah.
shot might not fall because you're not used to playing on the 8.5 foot rim still. So,
No,
like
yeah.
you said,
I
I
mean,
think you like I don't think you really want to play any of those teams in the first round,
yeah.
but I would say I would try to avoid Run TMC at least until the semifinals.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think that, especially, I think we saw that last year too. I mean, there's been people like, I think Kyle's a good example. Kyle came in, he was attacking the basket with ease, but his shot really wasn't falling that much. And I think this year
Yep.
it's starting to fall. It's because, like you said, you kind of get used to the rims, and it's not that easy, especially in the big moments when you're playing. Like Chris said, Reggie's been in this league for about 8 years now. No one knows these rims better than Reggie, so Run TMC is
Not
probably
this time.
someone you want to avoid.
Yeah, especially because I would say too, they're probably the deepest team in the league if everybody shows up. They have Eric Langston, who's won two championships.
Yep.
They have Brett Cody, who's won I think
Rel.
at least one. Well, I don't think Rel could play now, right? He's only come to one game.
Oh, you're right. Well, he's played what, two, and they got one. He has to come this
No,
last week.
no, he came. I think he only
Uh,
came when they played Get Money.
no, you're right. He only came for one. So yeah, no Terrell Vargas in the playoffs.
That's a big loss for them.
Yeah,
But
that's big. I mean, I don't. Yeah, you're good. It should. Yeah, no. I mean,
yeah,
I
like I was saying, no Joey Zacco in the playoffs either. No 3-point jumper from him. Um, No, like I said, no Terrell, but I think they have enough with they have enough experience, obviously, with Eric, Reggie, Eric Singleton,
yeah.
else on that? Who else on it? Oh, they have
I
what's
mean,
his
they
name?
got Will.
Reggie's friend. Oh
They
yeah,
got Craig.
Will's there. What? Yeah, Craig. What's his name? Craig Chandler
Craig Chandler. Yeah, let me
or
go to it. Let me go to it.
something like that. I don't want to
TMC.
get
I mean,
anybody's name
TMC.
wrong.
No, yeah, they got Craig Chandler. I mean, and like, look,
Yeah,
I mean,
they should be
Reggie's
good.
Reggie's shooting 40% from three this year, taking 73s. That's that's a good sign.
He doesn't do. Never did that against us, but you know, shout out.
Hey,
You know I
but
love Reg.
that's a good segue though, because TMC obviously is the favorite. You know, you're talking
I would
about,
agree.
you know, yeah, they're probably the favorite. You know, shout out my Flint boys, but I gotta say they're the favorite. Outside of TMC, who you know, Trail, Get Money, Flint are probably the next three. Who do you like out of those three?
Yeah, no disrespect to the other four teams, Biggest Skis, Family First, Snipe Squad, Back Outside Boys, but from the games that I've watched, I don't think they are going to be playing in the semifinals. Like you said, I think it'll be Run TMC,
Mm-hmm.
Trail, Get Money, Flint. I don't know who came up with the name Trailblazers, but we won't get into that. Um, but realistically, like you said, so as of now, it should be Flint versus Run TMC in the semis, which I think that'll be a great matchup, especially depending on who shows up for Run TMC. If they have a full team, but like you said, I mean, Flint beat Run TMC by 30 early on, and they lost to them by what, 6 or 7 last night. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
TMC only had 4 or 2 in that game.
Flint could have had some rust from having a couple weeks. They're not the team to take a couple weeks off and just get back
Yeah.
into it. They need to play consistently. And maybe they were trying to save a little gas for the second game. But yeah, so I think that'll be a good match. Run TMC should take that matchup if Reggie comes to
Mm-hmm.
play. I think Reggie seems to kind of be on a mission this year because he hasn't won without since he's left the Monstars. Run TMC
Yeah.
has never won a championship, so that'll be a big piece to his resume because I think that'll be his third championship, so he'll tie me. Um, but realistically, I think Trailblazers will be good because Jelly is one of the best players in the league. I would honestly say it's probably Reggie and him 1 and 2, no matter how you want to put it. No disrespect to Kyle or the McRae brothers or anybody like that. That's just my personal opinion. So I think that when you have one of the top two players in the league, I think that gives you a great chance to win too.
Yeah.
So I think Trailblazers will have a really good shot to win. I think they just you have to make sure your rotations are right getting down to the playoffs. You have to like from my perspective because I was never obviously I was never the best player on any of my teams. You have to know when you're not a top four guy. You have to know when's the best time to go in, when's the best time to sit out. You have to kind of understand that if you want to win a championship. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't you have to like at this point in life where everybody's a grown man in this league. You have to know when somebody's better than you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, I think Trailblazers have a chance because they're deep. I think Get Money might be a little deeper than them, especially with their new rotation. With it seems like Kyle's been coming off the bench the last couple weeks. So yeah, I mean, Get Money made the finals last year, so that's you can't count them out. And Flint is Flint, so like I could like you've been saying, I feel like you've been saying this all year. Any of those four teams could win the whole thing, and I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Um, I would say the finals will probably end up being Run TMC and Get Money. That's I'm gonna lock that in.
Okay. No, I don't hate that pick because the way the bracket's probably going to break down, like let's say next week we got TMC back outside. TMC wins, let's say. Let's say the favorites win. Like Flint
Yeah,
beats Skis, Glazers beats Snipe, Get Money beats Family. Then it looks like the semis would be TMC, Flint, Glazers, Get Money, and that might work out for TMC where TMC ends up, let's say they end up beating Flint, Glazers and Get Money beat each other up, and then you got TMC riding high going into that finals. They got Reggie who's been there before.
Flint's gonna be a fight too, though. I don't think they're gonna go down without a
Oh
fight,
yeah.
as we know.
Oh no.
They've gotten rid of what's the saying? Shocker never beat Flint or whatever
Yep.
they always like to say. So we've had some battles against them over the years.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
but
not an easy out.
without Bizzuto, though, it's going to be tough. I think Flint. The biggest thing in Flint's way is they really don't have a star. So if one of their top guys isn't hitting, I think it's if
Hmm.
TJ or Nick Japs or one of those guys isn't hitting, I think it's gonna spell trouble for them down the stretch because they don't have a closer like how Run TMC has Reggie, Get Money has Kyle, and the brothers, and Trailblazers have Jelly. I think that's gonna put Flint on the outside looking in when it comes down to the getting to the championship.
No, I
Because
mean, I was talking about that with Anna on the post game show. Like Flint needs to find someone else. Like if you look at their last week's game, the game they beat Snipe Squad by 1 point. Nick had 21, TJ had 19. I mean, the rest of the team, like Ryan
they're
Caggiano
looking.
with 8, like
Yeah, you,
they need to keep that up.
no disrespect, but you're not gonna win a championship with Ryan Caggiano as your third leading scorer.
Yeah,
No
and I bet you
disrespect.
Ryan would be
I'm
like,
sure he'd agree. I'm sure
yeah,
he'd
I think
agree.
he would.
But I really think they're missing. Obviously, they're missing Mike Bizzuto, which is a
Yeah,
huge piece.
huge.
Um, but yeah, I think down the stretch, it seems like it's Run TMC's year. I mean, I've been wrong before because it looked like it was last time we did this. Last time Run TMC was in it, you would think it would have been Run TMC's year
Yep,
then when Mike was gone and
yep,
we had to play them in the semis when we had Carmine and Rel and all
yeah,
those guys. You thought it was Run TMC's year then,
yep.
but it seems like when it matters, hopefully Reggie proves me wrong because some last few seasons, I'm gonna call Reggie out right here. It's your time, Reg. Because the last few times in the playoffs, I wouldn't say you've been a no show, but you haven't shot like yourself. Let's just put
Hmm.
it that way. But yeah, realistically, I think it's finally Run TMC's time. I think obviously they put in a lot of years, probably the longest tenure team in the league. Now that Sportsbook isn't there, um, I think it's time. I don't know if we count this for Joey, but he put the team together. I guess um, it's gonna. I guess it'll say it on his player profile that he was Summer 24 champions. Just Joey. When it comes down to it, let Reggie hold the trophy in the picture at least. You could get in,
Reggie
but
better be. Reggie better be.
Reggie should hold the trophy in the picture because I mean,
Oh.
if you were at least came to 3 games, and I would agree, but it's you're still the architect behind it. So,
He
congrats,
is.
buddy!
He
It's your
is.
time finally.
He is. And yeah, no, actually, you were saying it right. Last year against Get Money, Reggie on Redeem Team was 3 of 14 from three. Shot like I think
Yeah,
I'm looking at seven
that's
shots.
not expectations of Reggie. That's not what I
No.
expect when I see
And
Reggie.
he said this year they played Get Money this year. When was it? They played Get Money. I believe it was week. Let me see. Get Money. Yeah, it was week 4, and Reggie said like I got to get him back. And I
Yeah.
mean, he
Well,
went
he
off
said
20,
he
28 points. He shot 60%.
he said that to me right at the after they lost in the semifinals. But I remember semifinals. I think it was summer 17 or winter, might have been winter 17. I think when we were lighted up, I think Reggie had 50 in the semifinals against the Mike Davis team and knocked them out of the playoffs. And then went on to
You
win,
all right?
if
Yeah.
I'm
No.
not mistaken. So
This is why we love Chris Rudzinski. I'm gonna pull it up.
We know Reggie is comes to play when the playoffs come around. Usually leads his team. I
So,
mean, how
hmm
many championships has Reggie? Reggie's been to was in the semis last time. He went to. I
two-time
think he went to.
champion.
I think he went to 3 straight finals though with Run
Yeah,
TMC, or no,
yeah.
2 straight and then the semis. I know that my team's a reason why he didn't get any rings with them so far, but I know he went to 2 finals with um, Monstars. It seems like he's always in the final four.
He's always
Um,
around it. Yeah.
a Reggie team is always in the final four of the championship.
No,
So
I mean,
is it
look,
safe to say
this is what
Reggie
you were
might be
talking about.
The LeBron James of the legacy leagues? Might be Reggie
Good
Stewart?
comparison. That's a good. I mean, look at this. I pulled up what you're talking about. He had 47 points, 15 to
Yep,
21 shooting, 9 of
15
13
of
threes.
21, ridiculous. And that was the
He had
team that didn't have
40,
the Langstons.
and that's against Mike Davis. Like, just
Yep,
so people who are watching who don't know who Mike Davis is, that's his profile. 5 times champion. That's
it's
who
only
he
I
did
think it's
this
only
against.
2,000 point scorer in the league history.
Only one. Only one. That's kind of what Chris is saying. Like Reggie can do it. Reggie is without a doubt the Mount Rushmore of Legacy Leagues basketball players. Like there is no debate. He's on it, and that's.
That
I
would
mean,
be
like Chris is
that'd be
saying,
interesting
that's
for another
TMC's time.
episode.
That would be another
Go
good
through the
episode.
run,
But
go through the Mount Rushmore. Yeah,
you know,
Reggie. I would say Reggie's definitely on there,
yeah, I
and
mean, I'd
then
say you
and then
probably
Mike,
got
and then
Reggie,
maybe me
Mike.
and Joey.
Yeah, are we doing
No,
Connecticut or?
I'm just playing.
But here, so we
uh,
talked about TMC.
yeah.
I gotta get your opinion. What do you think about this Get Money team? What have you seen from them? They're
Oh, I just think if well if every they're one of the like you said they're one of the four teams that could definitely win it all. They're very athletic, as I remember from last
hmm
season. They added Kyle Davis, who was on Yaga last season, who was the Finals MVP against them.
hmm
So realistically, I would say with their big three triple threat, the two brothers and Kyle, think they have just as good of a shot as anybody. I just think that they don't have enough size when it
hmm
comes down to stopping Eric Langston in the paint, when it comes down to stopping uh,
the guy on Glazers,
Trailblazers.
Jaquan
Yep.
Bromell.
I think that'll be a tough matchup, but I do think that they're deep enough to beat them. I just think when it comes down to Run TMC, I think it's gonna Run TMC is pretty deep
Yeah,
because, as you know, they could go six. I guess it would only end up being 6 or 7 guys though, because that can come into effect down the stretch without having Rel, without having,
yeah.
like I said, without having Joey. Who else?
I mean,
Yeah, it
it's
depends.
looking.
Will
It's
Hudson's got to play
Will
good.
be there. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
Joey, Scave, and Rel
Yeah.
can't play, so it's just gonna be Reggie. It's just gonna be Reggie, Eric,
What's that?
Will,
7.
Greg, Brett, Cody, Eric. If Eric shows up.
So that's. I think Eric Langston will
Yeah,
show up in the
and
playoffs.
Eric's huge. Eric Langston's huge for them.
Yep. Like I said, Get Money did make the championship last season. They played a
hmm
really good game. I think we played them week 1 too last season, and
Yeah,
they
they
came out
literally
and
played you guys, lost, and then didn't lose.
yep. And I think they put up a good fight in the first game too, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was
Yeah,
a. I think they caught us off guard as being as good as they were.
yeah,
But I think because they basically have the same team. Like I said, that's probably that's why I picked them to go to the championship against Run TMC
yeah.
because I think that they have enough. I think their chemistry is starting to come along. I think Kyle is getting in there. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it comes down to honestly, it's going to come down to Kyle Davis if they're going to win. Because I think you know what you're going to get from everybody
I
else.
agree.
I think Kyle is starting to find his place on this team.
hmm
I think him coming to Yaga was a little easier because he was already used to playing with most of those guys.
Yeah.
And I think as time goes on, I would like to see them come back after this too. Like let's say they don't win this season, I'd like
hmm
to see them in it again with the same team and maybe add another big man.
Another
And
big
I
guy. Yeah.
I think that they would be a force for a while. I don't see many teams beating them, but I don't know. It's
No,
tough, like you said.
I
Any of these
agree.
four teams, it's gonna come down to rotations. It's gonna come down to your stars hitting the shots when it matters. It's gonna come down, and honestly, as you see in like March Madness and all this stuff, it's gonna come down to a player that doesn't usually make as big of an impact, hitting a couple shots that could push one of these other teams over the top.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
remember in your finals, or I mean, I remember Ty Alston in the Monstars finals hitting shots. I mean, even in Shocker City, like guys like Greg Daniels, like these are names that
yeah,
people just aren't gonna. That's why I like the podcast. We can bring them up, but like there's guys on like these teams that you need your role players, and I think Get Money has some really talented guys on their bench. Like
they
Xavier
do.
McCrae's good. Antoine Cole's every time I turn around sitting a three. Like you don't need to score
hmm
50 to make an
Nope.
impact for Get Money. Just get them six.
You have to play defense and don't be
Yep.
afraid to do the Flint thing and foul in transition if you're
Yeah.
playing one of these better teams, especially against Run TMC. You
Yep.
could really slow them down by doing that.
That's actually funny you
Especially
say
these
that.
guys
Back
coming off
outside
the
boys are doing that.
especially coming off the bench, knowing that you're not like one of the main guys. Come in,
hmm
use your 6 fouls, man. Just use them. That's what Flint does. That's how Flint
Yeah.
gets teams frustrated. It's the Flint way. Is what
No,
I would
yeah.
say.
This literally last night against Snipe Squad, Flint, Tim Case, one of the bigger kids on Snipe Squad. He's like one of their two best players. He's athletic as
Yep.
hell. He was about to get a breakaway. They just wrapped him up, and you could tell he was frustrated. He's like, shaking his head, and that little thing, it's annoying, but it kind of gets to a team, and you got to. I mean, you're
Yep.
talking to Chris here. He's played Flint, beat Flint,
Oh
lost
yeah.
to Flint. You know how it goes.
Flint's always been tough. I think they get me more often than we've gotten them, but I know we
Hey,
got them one. We got them with the Blue Devils, but then shocker, it was kind of
true.
a
Yeah, it's
tough.
funny. That's actually funny how that worked out. Blue Devils. It's shout out Mike. Shout out to the goat, Mike Davis. Again,
But
if you
that
guys don't
was,
know Mike
but
Davis,
if you think about it, Blue Devils was more of a scrappy team than a
it.
overpowered team.
I was gonna say it matched up well because Flint played the Shocker City team, and you guys are like, all right, maybe we just out talent them, and sometimes
Well, that's
against teams
exactly
like
what they.
that,
Yeah.
I mean, remember Team
Well,
Moose, kind of same thing. They weren't that crazy. They just played team
nope.
basketball.
But you play. You got to play to get. That's what I was saying. If that's why that's another reason why I think Run TMC is going to win the whole thing because I think they
Yeah,
have more chemistry than most of these teams, and I think it's easier to plug in like Eric Langston into their lineup as it goes along, as he's not been to as many games. But like you saw a couple weeks ago, if he's hitting his half court threes and all this other stuff, the TMC is going to be a problem.
yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I mean, TMC, if Reggie's playing like this, their role players are playing well. I mean, Brett Cody is playing great basketball. If if Eric Langston's playing well, hitting three, like Will Hudson's shooting 40% from, I think almost 50% from the year from three.
Yeah,
If they're
that's
firing on all
that. But
cylinders like that,
Yep. If Will Hudson plays the way he used to be able to
yeah,
play,
it's
I
yeah,
because Will Hudson was a really good basketball player. I know he's had a couple kids now, so probably not doesn't play as much as he used to. But if he's hitting like that, but like I said, it's going to come down to Jelly Chapman for
yeah.
Trailblazers. If he scores 40, who's going to beat them? Especially with their big man too. I don't know.
I
I
think
don't want
they're
to
a
mess
big
up
wild
anybody's
card.
name. I
I think
think that.
Blazers are a big
But
wild card.
remember, I said that to you at the beginning of the year that
You did before week
If
one.
Jelly learns how to shoot in this league, then it's going to be because Jelly's a sniper from three and 10. I played with him in 10 foot. Played against had teams against him in 10 foot. I've seen Jelly drop probably 50 points and win a game, and his team had four and the other team had five. So I know Legacy's
That's
4-on-4, but
yeah.
this was 10 foot in Milford. I've seen him do that. I've seen him shoot lights out. So that's it's gonna be they're gonna be a tough out. Like you said, these
Yeah.
top four teams are really this is probably the closest the top four teams have been since what summer the
I
I
mean,
guess the or winter 17 probably the season before Greg Langston's team.
yeah. I mean,
Or maybe
I'm
winter
trying to think.
18 when it was
Let's see, winter
Blue
18.
Devils, No
Yeah,
Limit,
no.
Chasers,
Chasers, Moose, Temptations, Rim
Moose.
Breakers, Flint,
That was
Goon
probably the
Squad, Monster.
deepest league.
Yeah. No, that's a good one because even the Throne that year went 2-7, and they were not a 2-17.
Well, I think they probably had Russ Payton and Eric Langston too. I think that
Yeah, I
Throne
mean, no,
team.
that was a really really deep team. I mean, I'm trying to look. There was the summer 18, but that was your Shocker City team where you guys just dominated.
Oh no, that Throne team was the didn't have really. That was like Jason
Was that the
Hernandez and
first Throne team? Like the
yeah,
first
that,
one he put in? Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Jason was their guy. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the summer 18 was when they had Riddy and Eric Langston. I think they had Don Langston too on that team. Who plays? I think he plays. Where does Don play now? Rhode Island with Joey? Is it Rhode Island or Mass that Don's on?
He used to play in Rhode Island with Joey. I don't think he plays with Joey anymore in
No,
Rhode
he
Island,
played.
but he.
No, he's playing this year. I've
Oh, he
seen it.
is.
Yeah,
Oh wow, yeah. So Dom still sticks around, huh?
Dom's been around. Dom's one of the few players to play in multiple leagues. I think him and Brett
I know.
Cody
Wow.
both played in
Yeah,
multiple
Brett
leagues.
Cody. Yeah, yeah. And Brett Cody could get. I
Brett
wonder
Cody's been
if
around for a while too.
he's an underrated player, man. Brett and Mike Cody are. They just know their roles, never
Yeah,
complain, and just go out there and do their thing. It's cool to watch. It really is.
they don't care. They just want to win. Players like that. That's why I said players like that know their role. Just want to. That's what it's going to come down to. Is your role players knowing their role and not trying to do too much as the playoffs go along. It comes to that you guys got to show up on time or early, especially against when you're playing Flint. Don't don't have your best guy walking in 15 minutes after tip off's supposed to be, where it's halfway through the first quarter, because I've seen that too, where guys are looking like, where is this guy, instead of just playing the game. Got to make sure everybody's there on time, as
No,
I've learned.
it's. I mean, I was gonna say, you know better than most. I mean,
Don't
it's
have
one of the.
Carmine coming from New York the day of the
Yeah,
finals.
I was gonna say day of the finals coming from New York, and then he dropped 0, and it's yeah. I mean, it's this was a fun one. We got like a legacy history lesson. I mean, Rudzinski, you're a 3-time champ. You got one more piece of advice, word of wisdom for these 8 teams.
I said just play your game and hope if you're hitting shots, anything's possible. That's why 8 teams make the playoffs. It seems like I was kind of looking through. It seems like no team scored 100 this season, which is
No.
big. Seems like there's been a lot of close. Even the bottom teams have played pretty close against the top team. So it really doesn't. Anything's possible. There could be an upset. Somebody, like you said, Reggie's off, Jelly's
Yeah.
off, Kyle's off. Any of those guys shoot like 3 for 12 or something like that. Anything's possible.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Yeah, I think that that's going to be, and then with those guys are off, it kind of comes down, one thing I'll shout out quick is Tyron McRae has really been, especially this last week, he was getting on his guys about playing defense, just play defense, play defense. They were giving
Yeah,
up some easy baskets,
got
and
to
he was
play
screaming from the
defense.
sidelines. He's like, you got to play defense and step up. So I agree with you. I think for this championship, it's going to come down, the stars are going to give you probably what they're going to give you. Who
hmm What
outside of
role
the
player is
big
going to
three
step
is on
up?
each team? Yeah, it's going to be the role
It seems
players.
like
It's going to
most
be.
teams have a big three.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
what I would
agree.
say. But I have two questions for you before we
Okay.
wrap up. Who who do you think has been I would say besides Reggie, who would you say has been the MVP this year?
Here, I'll do it besides Reggie or Nick Japs, because like Nick Japs is
Okay.
the clear second.
Okay.
It's got to be Jelly. Um,
Okay.
and
I like that.
I say that because he's like you said, he can shoot so well. But the one thing that I think people don't realize is he averages 9 rebounds a game,
Oh
and
wow.
he plays insane defense. And I
Yep.
think especially the fact he averages 9 rebounds a game and he's playing on a team with a bunch of big guys just
Yeah, it's
shows.
huge.
It's just kind of what you were saying. He just knows basketball. He's a baller. He's a
Yep.
gamer. He knows exactly what his team needs when they need it. He knows when to attack. He knows what kind of when to find the open guy. He knows when to get other guys involved. And I just love watching him play. And I think he's one of those guys that he's not just a scorer. He does so much for his team. So I got to give it a Jelly.
No, I agree. And then my other question for you is, are you sticking with Run TMC for the championship, or who's your
No,
pick?
I gotta pick Flint Tropics no matter what. I gotta pick my boys. But I will say I am nervous about Flint, and
They don't have
I don't
Bizzuto.
know. Yeah, without Pizzuto,
Here,
it's
here,
like
Greg.
I don't
You got
know.
you got to get one of these bad boys.
I can't believe it. No way. But wait, who's your pick? Are you going TMC?
Get one of these. Yeah, I think TMC. I think it's finally time, and it's easier for me to pick them because Joey hasn't come to
Yeah,
enough games to qualify.
yeah.
So, and and to be fair, the last few times Run TMC has lost to Shocker City, so it's not like they've lost to bad teams down
True.
the stretch. So they
Very true.
realistically they probably lost to the most talented in the
And
team,
those were good
talented
games.
team in the league. They went. I think one of them went to double overtime.
Double
I think
overtime, yeah.
I think the semifinals game went to double overtime too, or something like
They're
that.
always
And
good
then the
battles.
first championship, I think, was only a 10-point game or something like that.
No, it's
Um,
always battles with them.
yep.
It's gonna be weird, you and Joey not out there when if you guys ever played. It's weird.
I th- I think
it's weird.
Joey will be there for the championship. I can't see him. I can't see Run TMC being in the game and him sitting at home. And plus, he's got to
Yeah,
deliver the
no.
trophy.
True. No. He's got to show. I mean, that's what people want. They want to get that trophy from Joey himself, and if he's handed it to his own team, it'll be even better.
Oh, it's great when he hands the trophy to you after you beat his team, though.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
Um,
Well,
but I have one thing to say to Joey before
okay.
Joey.
Okay. Message to the commish.
If Run TMC wins, retire that trophy, man. It's time for a new one. You've had that same trophy since 2016.
I like that idea. Get a new trophy. Ends on
And you could
Joey's reign.
and you could keep
Oh
it on
yeah.
your mantle. And
Yeah.
if you don't win, just give up making teams in Connecticut.
Yeah, man.
No
Well,
disrespect, Joey. You know I love
no.
it's a love hate thing.
Yeah.
I love you, you hate me.
Joey, hey,
Kidding.
It's good content. Joey loves it, and you know, just like you, Joey will be watching on those live streams, and then when that championship day, if Run TMC makes it, he'll be there.
I think they will. I think like we've been saying the whole time. I think Reggie. This is probably the most motivated Reggie's been, especially after that blowout loss to Get Money last season.
Yeah. All
I
right,
agree. Well, thanks for having me, Greg.
Shout out my boy Flint. Yeah, Rudzinski, 3-time champion. This is a 3-time people. He has the record for the most assists in a single game. Just get that. Just be prepared for that. This kid.
That means anybody in this league could do anything. You don't have to be that good at basketball.
Yaga's O. Chris Rudzinski. Rudzinski, a pleasure.